Hey guys, so before we get into the video, as I was editing, I noticed that I forgot to mention that I've edited the links on my channel a little bit. You can now go straight to my Rotten Tomatoes, to my Instagram, where I will also be sharing these reviews, and also I'll be posting about upcoming things and whatnot. So if you want to check those out, feel free to go to my channel and click on the links.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the next Joshinator movie review. Now, before we get started, I want to mention, I know I haven't posted in a long time, and also I know the lighting is a mess right now. I know the setup is a mess. I've been kind of moving to different rental locations over the last couple of years. It's complicated. We're having a house built. As soon as we move into there, the display will be much more consistent. The lighting will be better. So you guys are just going to have to bear with me a little bit until then. With that out of the way, let's talk about today's movie, which is Underwater. Now, this is the next January horror thriller. It was directed by William Eubank and stars Kristen Stewart, T.J. Miller, and Vincent Cassel. Now, I will admit, when I first saw the trailer for this film, I was a bit skeptical. I mean, it looked cool, and I'm a big sucker for horror thrillers like this that take place in an isolated area and there's a creature after the characters. But I'll be honest, I was skeptical, and it did kind of look like a ripoff of Alien, but this film definitely cements itself as being different and its own thing, because it's set 7 miles under the ocean, so you definitely have a little bit of a different tone and direction with it. And after watching the film, I will say there are a couple of scenes that really reminded me of Alien. There was even a few lines that felt straight out of that movie. But to be honest, you can definitely enjoy this as its own film. And I feel like overall you'll have a better time if you just stop comparing it to other films. Because yes, this is a genre that is very highly saturated with other ripoffs, but this is by far the best film out of that genre that I have seen so far. The first thing I want to talk about is the direction. I thought that this was a really well-directed thriller. Right off the bat, it kind of throws you straight into the action. It doesn't bother with any backstory. They're kind of in this giant sea drilling station 7 miles under the ocean, and all of a sudden things just go crazy. There's all sorts of explosions, and the base is kind of starting to fall apart. Because of this, I feel like there's a really good sense of claustrophobia and fear because, you know, if you're that kind of person who's afraid of being in isolated places, like it doesn't get much more isolated than 7 miles beneath the ocean. There's no way to get to the surface immediately, there's limited oxygen, and as the water kind of starts to close in on them, they're forced to get into their suits and walk along the bottom of the ocean floor. And they really utilized some really great set design, and overall the production design of this movie was really good. It looked a lot less cheap than I thought it would. The suits look really great, there's a lot of practical effects, and the sets that they used made it look very good. I also really like that they decided to use the creatures very sparingly. And I don't mean that they're not around a lot, they are, but they don't show them in frame very often, and it's very darkly lit, so you're not really sure exactly what they look like, and that always works to a horror film's advantage. I was also really surprised by the acting in this film. When I first saw the trailer, I didn't really recognize any of the actors besides, of course, Kristen Stewart, who actually was really good as the lead character. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of Kristen Stewart, but she was really good in this film. Other standouts to me were Jessica Henwick and T.J. Miller, who I actually thought was pretty good. It's clear that he's the comic relief character of this movie, and I was worried they were going to take that a little too far, but actually the humor worked very well, and it's not even really humor, it's very dry, very subtle, and I think they used his character pretty well. But the characters are where we start to get into problems with this film, and I'll start off by saying that these are very one-note characters. They aren't dynamic at all. In fact, we don't even really get a backstory on any of them, as the action of the film kind of starts within the first 10 minutes or so. But considering the genre of this film and the fact that it clocks in at only 95 minutes, I actually kind of appreciate that they don't waste our time with a bunch of backstory that we really wouldn't give a shit about anyways, because at the end of the day, we kind of come to a movie like this to watch things jump out of the water and attack the characters, and it understands that. I'm by no means saying that this is an excuse and it makes the film perfect or anything like that. Of course you want a little bit more background with characters. Other thrillers such as Crawl, which came out last year, did a great job with that, you know, giving the characters some background that comes into play when you're watching the film and they finally get, you know, in all the action. And this film doesn't really have that. I also thought there were a lot of really weird cuts to black or fades to black. It's clear that there was a post-production issue where they didn't have a transition from this scene to this scene, so they kind of just decided to cut to black and then cut to the next frame. I also was not a huge fan of the ending. It looked like they were going to go one direction and then they decided to completely do something different, and I was kind of disappointed. And also I would say that the last 5-10 minutes are really rushed, and I kind of wanted a little bit more of the aftermath of this huge disaster. But in the end, guys, I still had a lot of fun with this film. It was very claustrophobic, very suspenseful, and I would say that I was never really bored. In fact, there is a lot more action than I thought there would be. There's no downtime where the characters are just sitting down, talking, because there's always a threat that they're dealing with. In a film like this that really understands itself, you can come to appreciate that. The acting, the set design, and the CGI is all really top notch. My only big complaint with this film is the characters and the story was a bit weaker than it could have been. But overall, I'm going to give Underwater a B-. I thought it was a good time. If you're into these sort of films that are kind of one-note characters and you got creatures in the darkness, I think you'll have a good time with it. That's it for this video. For now, guys, make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more. And like I said, a lot of big changes will be coming soon within the next couple of months. And I'm sorry I haven't uploaded in a while. I've had a lot of things going on in the background that have made it difficult to upload. You know, of course, being a student and also trying to work a job has made it difficult to upload consistently. But thank you so much to those who have supported and those who are coming on board. Welcome, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.